Yes, thưa thầy. At that time, the Buddha cloud thunder sounds, constellation King Flower Wisdom said to King Wonderful Adornment, just go, just go. It is as you have said. If good men and good women have planted good roots, and as a result in existence after existence have been able to gain good friends, then these good friends can do the Buddha work, teaching, benefiting, delighting, and enabling them to enter Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Great King, you should understand that a good friend is a great cause and condition by which one is guided and led, and which enable one to see the Buddha and to conceive the desire for Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Great King, do you see these two sons? These two sons have already offered alms to Buddhas equal in number to the sense of 6,500, thousands, 10,000, millions, Nayutas of Ganges, have drawn near to them with reverence, and in the presence of those Buddha have accepted and upheld the Lotus Sutra, thinking with compassion of living beings who embrace heretical views and causing them to abide in correct views. But I understand that in here the Buddha explained the Buddha cloud thunder sounds constellation King Flower Wisdom explained to King Wonderful Adornment the reason why these two sons could be able to enter Nayutara Sambodhi because in the past they have they have learned the roots of having good friends, and having good friends is the great cause and condition for one to see the Buddha and to conceive desire to enter Samyuttara Samyasambodhi, which is the meditation state.
What about the two sons?
These two sons, they have accepted. They have been offer arms to these countless number of Buddhas in the past, and also they have accepted and uphold the Lotus Sutra. And they also have compassion of living beings, and they heretical views and causing them to abide in correct views. So they have planned this already in the past, and also they already know this Lotus Sutra in the past.
So you know the meaning of Anuttara Samyu Sambodhi, right?
I don't remember the details, but I think it is a meditation stage, samadhi.
No. There is the Buddhahood. Achieve enlightenment, achieve the Buddhahood.
Yeah.
William, your daughter has a Samme, right? Her name is Samme.
It's Samaya.
Samaya. Samaya. Is that you use this one? Is that right, or different one?
No, from the words of my perfect teacher. The definition that he has. There's from when we named her that I couldn't remember where I got it from, but Samaya in here is defined as a promise, sacred links between teacher and disciple, also between disciples in the Vajrayana, In Sanskrit, it can mean agreement, engagement, convention, precept, boundary, etc. It also can be an object or ingredient which is necessary for enhances the practice of the Vajrayana.
So probably no one has this name before. Is that right?
Nobody I know. But I didn't know the meaning of it when I chose it. I just remembered it. And I really liked that ending, Aya. It just seems very kind of open. So
you know this word, right? Anuttara Samaya Sambuddhi, right?
It's the perfect enlightenment.
Yeah, the perfect enlightenment. That's the meaning there. And let's see here. So I remember that in the Flower of the Sutra, it says that when you see good noble advisor, you have gone half of the path already. That means you are 50% on the way to the goal. What do you think, William? Is that true or depend?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I would consider you a good knowing advisor, but like say Karen, like Master Swanhua. So Master Swanhua had a few good knowing advisors, and I wouldn't consider myself to be like in the same position as he was. So, but it's such a big path that maybe halfway it's like, there's a lot of wiggle room for saying it's halfway because it's close. So maybe I'm like, I don't know, 1,000 lifetimes beyond Master Swanhua or something behind him. But maybe that's still like within, if it's, millions of lifetimes, maybe 1,000's not that big of a difference.
Thầy giáo Pháp. Right. So depend, right? Depend on who good with advisor. Probably they talk about Buddha, right? When we see the Buddha, right? For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When we practice, we have one fundamental teacher. That means it's our own teacher, and beside that, we also depend on the wise advisor, because they are the one who really help us on the way in practice. Because we sit always open and learn from those wise advisors. So that's how we can speed up our practice. Because it's not we do not always learn from our teacher, because it's also good to learn from the wise advisor. So they are very important in Buddhism.
So in this sutra, right, the Lotus Sutra, most of the time the Buddhists have make an offer to countless Buddhas. That means they have direct connection with the Buddha. It's quite different from us. So that's why I think in that sutra, the Flower of the Moon Sutra, confidently say that, yeah, when we see the amid the good noble advisor, we work halfway. Just probably, in my view, they have met Buddha, right? For sure, they will probably even, I think, more than halfway to deeply see the Buddha, right? Not the common people like us, right? Cô Thông Nguyễn, right? What do you think?
Yes, Thầy, I think so. I think, yeah, I think it's not, I think lately that the fact that being reborn in this world, people or beings are easily distracted from many different other source of energies and circumstances. So to be able to remain and to practice the way, there should be connection to higher, beyond the livings, the normal, what we see daily. So these two kings, these two sons, actually they had connection with the Buddha in the past, and they just reincarnate as these two sons of the king, and therefore, yeah, they already have the really good karma and the seeds to become the Buddhas. Therefore, they are able to convince their father easily. Otherwise, it's yeah, it's hard to change someone else's mind. Rather, even more difficult to convince them. Going against the mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the 42 Sutra, 42 Section Sutra, the Buddha mentioned about 20 difficulties, and the most difficulties one is to meet the Buddha. And for us, we didn't know in the past whether we met him or not, but definitely this lifetime we could not. So that's why it's not easy. It's not easy for us to practice nowadays. But whoever have the chance to see the Buddha directly, I think they have more advanced in the spiritual path. Right. So not talking about these two songs, where the son they made 65,000, 10,000 million and Utah against Buddha. This is just a lot for them, right? So that's why they have strong good. It's quite different from us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why sometimes I ask the children whether in their dreams have they seen any Buddha, Bodhisattva, and so forth. It's pure rare. Some of them they say it's pure rare. Have you seen them in your dream, William? Buddha, Bodhisattva, and so forth?
Not in my dream, but I did a few years ago. Was it 7 years ago? I went to Peru, and I was interested in the Peruvian shamanism, and they have a drink that is like gives you visions, and so in that I saw a lot of stuff, but a Buddha that was like maybe 30 feet, 40 feet tall, that was kind of an iridescent blue color. And it was like everything else was black. And this Buddha was just walking in empty space in a circle. It walked around in a circle and then it walked out. It like I think it'd be similar to how Amitabha is depicted. But I wasn't like convinced that, oh, that's Amitabha. To me, it just seemed like a Buddha that I wasn't sure if it was a particular one.
Actually, it's not for sure. Sometimes we say, okay, dream is a dream. It's untrue. But sometimes dream is true. Because when we sleep in, we don't activate our five sense organs. We don't activate our discrimination. So this came from our storage house. If we have good connection with the Buddha, they will appear. So probably because of it's just chemical, right? Some type of chemical, some kind of herbs, right? That activate and wave your nerve system, right? So you can see that, but somehow it may not. It may be true because that type of herbs manipulate your brain.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, okay. All right, let us move on then. Yeah, go ahead, William. Please, the next one, please.
King Wonderful Adornment then descended from midair and said to the Buddha, "World honored one, the thus come one is a very rare being. Because of his benefits and wisdom, the knob of flesh on the top of his head illuminates all with bright light. His eyes are long, broad, and dark blue in color. The tuft of hair in between his eyebrows, one of his features, is white as a crystal moon. His teeth are white, even, closely spaced, and constantly have a bright gleam. His lips are red and beautiful as the bimba fruit. At that time, King Wonderful Adornment, having praised the Buddha's immeasurable hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of benefits in this manner, in the presence of the thus come one, single-mindedly pressed his palms together and addressed the Buddha once more, saying, World-honored one, such a thing as this has never been known before. The law of the thus come one is fully endowed with inconceivably subtle and wonderful benefits. Where his teachings and precepts are observed, there will be tranquility and good feeling. From this day on, I will not give way to heretical views or to ignorance or to arrogance, anger, or other evil states of mind. So, King Wonderful Adornment is praising the Buddha's physical attributes. Some of these marks that are known of the 52. It's the 52 marks of the Buddha, right? It's 52, isn't it?
32.
32, okay. The 32 marks of the Buddha.
32
List just a
with special mark and 80 minors mark.
okay.
Mm.
And so lists just a few of them, and then also praises in the presence of some forms of the Buddha once or so. And then the Buddha actually kind of praises the law, the Buddha way, the Buddha wisdom, and says that wherever world honor, what such a thing has never been. Buddha said the Buddha once more addressed. Oh, he dressed the Buddha, right? So the King Wonderful Adornment actually praised the law and stated that anywhere that this law is followed and the precepts are kept, that will be tranquil and people will be happy.
And he made the vows to let go to stay away from the heretical views or iron anger and so forth. So made that vow at that moment. Wow. Wonder how, right? Somehow this king prayed the Buddha and somehow he made that vow on that day, not before. You know why, William?
No, I don't know why.
Thầy giáo Pháp, you know why he praised Buddha first and made the vows that he will give up any type of wrong views at that time.
Basically, it's in order to give up the wrong view, that means he totally understood the Buddha teacher very deeply. And he know that the Buddha teaching is so profoundly, so beautifully, and that's why he praised him first. This give him the faith into the Buddha teaching. And that's how he be able to let go the wrong view easily. You just change the perspective of how you see it.
Cô Thông Nguyễn, you understand?
Yeah, I think I agree with William and thầy giáo Pháp. He paid respect to the Buddha and showing his honors and commitment to the enlightenment, and also I think also with the support of the Buddha energy toward his point of view.
With some cases, right, people praise or admire Buddhism, right, but they still keep up with their wrong view, right? Probably because of the Buddha power and blessing. That's why for this king, he give up the wrong view completely. But if he see only common people, probably it won't be happen, right? And that's why he's so glad to see the Buddha. And for us,
Yeah, the people who praising the without changing the view, that means they do not understand the Buddha teaching totally.
oh, you remember the story about the 500 men, laymen? At first, they came to see the Buddha. They so happy, and they took to reference what he said. But after the Buddha traveled to different places, they turned back to the wrong path. And when the Buddha came back to that area, so their parents brought them back, and they came back. You know this story, cô Thông Nguyễn? William, you don't know that story? You understand? You know that story, cô Thông Nguyễn? No?
No, thưa thầy.
Yeah,
I just heard the story of the friends of one of his disciples that turned into turned into the right view. But the story of changing, I don't know about this one.
your pap, you know that story, right?
Yeah, I do. I think the man who do that is often benefactor, benefactor. That means he the one who help the poor, and he the number one Buddha supporter for the male. He brought all the 500 laymen come and listen to the Buddha teaching, and they take the refuge into the Buddha. And later on, when the Buddha go to different region, and they turn back to, that means they withdraw the somehow they go back to see their wrong view teacher or whatever, right? And later on, when the Buddha come back, and the man took those 500 people come to see the Buddha, and the Buddha asked, "Did you follow? Continue on that?" And yeah, after that they go back and listen to the Buddha teaching. So this is that's why the why advisor is important in this case. Without a why advisor, well, they might not be able to get back to the right track. Right. But the reason is they take refuge to the Buddha. It doesn't mean that they understand the Buddha teaching. Maybe they admire the Buddha, and also because they respect their friend, right? The one who brought them here. So it doesn't mean that they understand the Buddha teaching clearly. The only person who can change their can give up their wrong view, this is the one who have wisdom. If we don't have wisdom, we cannot change it. Opposite of wisdom, that means the Tao.
So is this the first time, William, you know this story? They surprise you? 500 of them, not 5. Sorry, can you hear you?
Yeah, that's like, it doesn't surprise me. Makes me think kind of like a river ecosystem. When the waters are low, there's a different behavior in that ecosystem than when the waters are high. So, when the waters are high, there's abundance, then, the plants grow really, really well. There's more food. It's probably easier for the animals that are hunting to hunt. There's probably more fish in there. They're producing more because there's more food. And so like the whole ecosystem is more vibrant. So I think the analogy there for me would be like, well, the presence of the Buddha is like the water level being high. It's going to be a lot easier to put aside the arrogance, anger, evil states of mind, desire, because of the personage of the Buddha, probably the power of just pure presence and I think it would also kind of be like, you know, maybe each of these
Hmm. Can you still hear me?
on, they gradually probably kind of lose track of what that is, and kind of maybe even like on some level forget that initial inspiration until the Buddha returns. So it seems pretty like a normal human thing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think yeah, probably that's just more, yeah, it's more real story, right? More real story than other things, right? So because somehow by the way, what they call the law of attraction. And even Dalai Lama, he said that next lifetime I may be a beautiful lady, let me more attractive. And some Westerners, some American Westerners criticize him. So the point he want to say is to attract people to into Buddhism. That's what he talk about. He doesn't mind, of course, because of his vow. And yeah, we know the power of his attraction. Whenever he came here, at least 10,000, 20,000 so for people will come and listen to him. Remember that when we invite him to come here in Louisville, Kentucky, so more than 14,000 people, and most of them were non-Buddhists. Yeah, and now this,
So
yeah.
I think it's another way we can look at if the people nowadays they do a lot of good deeds, right? They but it doesn't mean that they understand the Buddhist teaching. They love to do good deed, right? All the religion they very good at that, and that means they make a lot of connection with other people. And the one who received the help from this person, they become the debt, right? And the person who helped them become the debt collector. So they are connected in that way. So later on, if they go to the next life, right, they will move together into that route. If the person, that means the one who give out, right? If he the one who do not have wisdom and he walk on the wrong path, they will pull the whole group of people follow him in that way.
Mm. So anyways, even during the Buddha lifetime, beside Ananda, is some monks. They love to see the Buddha teacher. That's why they follow the Buddha to become Buddhist monk. So, and again, it's just it's happened in every profession, in every situation, right? If you are more attractive, if you are handsome, beautiful, if you have a strong body, and so forth, you have more power to attract people to follow you, whether in doing business, whether in religion, whether in politics. That's true, Cô Thông Nguyễn. What do you think?
Yes, Thầy. I think definitely true. I
Yeah.
think the simple thing with the COVID job is also they interview people on the job online, but then yeah, the good looking people have more advance, more chance to get the job than non good looking people, because they only have 1 hour to present themselves.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
If that is also a simple job. And then if we talk about making decisions, or yeah, any plan, uh there are people who have this judgment. Also, what I see in the company where I work, most of people look very beautiful.
Very. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So what do you think, William? Is that because people look, mm, people value the external appearance much than the sense of that? them their skill and so forth, or what do you think?
I think that it's probably more of when two people are close in skill level, then the next thing would be beauty. I mean, it seems like if you're running a business, you want to make money to survive, and you can't, if it was just about beauty, they would just hire a bunch of models who didn't know anything about it. But they have to be able to achieve the goal too. So there's probably it's probably a tiebreaker for a lot of people who do hiring, I would think. And because there are examples in the world too of people who are just valued because of purely from their abilities to deliver on something like skill. But clearly beauty is, people get treated differently if they're beautiful than if they're not beautiful. They get different opportunities. So, and, I mean, in the Buddhist teaching, they talk about the connections between our form and like karmic fruition. So maybe that's why we have that sort of thing. Why there is something seems more beautiful than something else, because the energy that person was carrying with them from previous existences was one of benefiting other beings, and that the physical form is sort of it's like I don't know, like a scorecard for that in some elements of it. Because obviously you can have someone who's beautiful who has a terrible disease, and like who gets cancer and dies young. So everything is kind of mixed. So maybe there's some area they were strong in that resulted in good looks, but could still have other areas that they're weak in.
Well, if you want to become beautiful, you have to maybe a good thing is you offer the flower and the incense to the Buddha, and then decorate the Buddha altar. Maybe next life you will become beautiful, but doesn't mean that our mind is changing, right? Because we don't know how to transform our mind, and therefore, yeah, we look beautiful, but inside we are not really beautiful.
I need to do better with decorating my altar. It's pretty blank.
And that's why people just look outwardly, so they just look at the external features, right? They based on that. That's why racism is about, right? It's happening, right? So of course, that human bias we cannot blame. Even for us, we have the bias too. I don't know whether I told you yet, William. It's still funny if you can read Vietnamese newspaper at the end. Usually at the end of the magazine and newspaper, they have some kind of advertisement to sell or to buy the nail salon shop, and some of them they say clearly, "Oh, okay, my shop is in the white area." they say clearly. that's racism over there, but I don't know. In the newspaper, right? They would not allow you to do that, right? Do they allow to say that?
It would be unusual. It would be unusual to say like that. We would say, "Oh, it's in Carmel," and everyone understands that that's the white area. If you say Carmel, like you don't have to say white area, you just say Carmel, and people know what you're talking about. And I mean it makes sense because of historical inequities that led to less opportunities for people with darker skin tones, and so they didn't get to pass on as much wealth to their children. They didn't give them as many opportunities. So in a lot of cities, the correlation of like a place that's densely populated with people of African descent, on average, it's going to be a lower income neighborhood. Not everywhere, not all the time, but I mean, unfortunately, that association is true, not because of their potential. They're, you know, I think we all have pretty equal potential, but just because but that's interesting that in the they don't have the same sensitivity in the Vietnamese newspapers, because yeah, it would be, no one would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. So probably they don't know the law. They just say outright. Yeah.
I don't think it would be illegal. I just think it would be taboo. It would be like people wouldn't like it.
And I don't know. Up to now, they get used to that, and no one stopped that. I don't know, especially even the newspaper, the magazine. They should know the law to stop that, but they still carry on.
No, but the new and right now nowadays they turn black and white over.
No, I'm talking about the Vietnamese newspaper and the magazine. Yeah, and even in the United States. Yeah, I mean, I read so many times of them. Anyway, so that's human bias, right? And that's why somehow, yes, you understand now why Dalai Lama he met the vow to become a beautiful ladies, attractive ladies, so that people can follow him or her. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny. So people laugh at that, and some people criticize him as he says this. So anyway, okay, yeah, Thầy Giáo Pháp, you can read next, please.
The Buddha.
Yes, no, when he spoke, when he has.
When he had spoken this word, he bowed to the Buddha and departed. The Buddha said to the great assembly, "What is your opinion? Is it the king wonderful adornment, someone unknown to you? In fact, he is some other than the present Bodhisattva, flower, virtue, and his queen, pure, virtue, is Bodhisattva, light, shining, adornment, mark, who is now in the Buddha present. Our pity and compassion for the king, wonderful adornment, and his attendant, he were born in their midst. The king's son are the present Bodhisattva, menacing king and menacing superior. This Bodhisattva, menacing king and menacing superior have already succeeded in acquiring great benefit, such as this, and in the presence of immeasurable 100,000, 10,000 million Buddha have planted numerous roots of virtue and acquired inconceivably good benefit. If there are persons who are acquainted with the name of this Bodhisattva, the heavenly and the human being of all the world will surely do obeisance to them. So in here that basically right now the Buddha come back. I think it come back to the present Buddha, the Sakyamuni Buddha, I guess. Talk to the assembly. That means his assembly. What is your opinion? It is King wonderful adornment. That means the king adornment that in the past. Unknown to you? Well, in fact, he is the present Bodhisattva called flower virtue, and his queen right now it's pure virtue Bodhisattva. It's a Bodhisattva lightning signing adornment mark. That is the queen, and also the son is his two son is right now it's called the menacing king Bodhisattva and the menacing superior Bodhisattva. So and the Buddha said that these two Bodhisattva, they already planned a very good route to route virtue to the immeasurable 100,000 million Buddha, right? So unbelievable. And whoever acquired to this name, hear about this Bodhisattva name, the benefit from that, it surely imagine and surely benefit. So this is that's what I understand.
Okay. So again, all of them were Bodhisattva, right? And yeah, they have good with limitless Buddha in the past. Mm. Uh,
So
so
in
yeah, go ahead, thầy your part.
so in a family, if one of the one member of the family be able to attain certain state of the mind in an enlightened way, they will have a deeper influence and benefit the people within their circle or within their I mean all the relative connect that he have connection to. So that's a good thing. So we want to have the body relative, the relative of the body way. We don't want to have the common the relative in the common way.
Mm. Oh. So that's related to the Bodhisattva vows in the Brahmanet Sutra. This one, the minor is he said that remind us that we need to make the vows to follow the Buddha path, to follow Bodhisattva path, to follow good of an advisor. Mm. And so at first, somehow, for me, at first, somehow, it's similar. This is so, it's have dogmatic views, means some kind of enforcement on the this Bodhisattva precept. But I think this is valuable when we make that kind of vows. Like Thầy Yoga mentioned, what happens if we born in the families that they always obstruct us to do the practice, right? William and Golden Wheel, right? Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And if we are born in the family that's so supportive, so it's just if you enhance our practice easily. And even not talking about our family members, but also the one that we work with them now, the one that we associate with them. If they give us hard time, it's not easy. If they give us a lot of obstruction, it's not easy for us to move on. In your case, Cô Thu Nguyễn, right? At work, right? Somehow, probably they were born from the heaven, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think this company, its main uh, innovation is about the light source. So to be able to make more accuracy chips, they need to have light sources, strong light sources to project through the lens. And so the most competitive factor is the light source. And the recent EUV machines, they are invent from light. So I think it's somehow they have this energy from the heaven. Most of the people there, they are very smart and they are kind people. I think I'm lucky with this department where I work, because when I ask like, okay, please let me go 5 weeks instead of 4, because probably on the last week I might have a chance to meet the Dalai Lama. And then my team leader were like, oh, wow, okay, stay there. We will see you when you are back. And also with my mom, she studied 3 year Buddhism. And now one of her main tasks is the master in Vietnam gave her at head of a bus. So every weekend she arranged people go to this bus so that they can go to the temple. And I will go to the trip with my mom, and my sisters and my younger sister also supporting me with study Buddhism. So I think I'm very lucky, yeah, to have all good opportunity and good friends around me. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to build up that type of friendship, right? We have to build up that type of relationship at this lifetime, and also make the vows too, right?
Yeah.
So next lifetime we be born in the Buddhist family, or at least to have a circle of Buddhist friends and so forth, so that they can support us while we still immature. Right? Mm.
Yeah.
What do you think, William? Is this important to have the circle of Buddhist friends around to support?
Yeah, I think it's probably a natural progression in the way that people, as they're have developed more, like they've dedicated merit to the Buddha way, and their blessings in future lives don't show up as much in the form of like purely material things, but show up in these sort of like immeasurable blessings of relationships, connections that help them move along in the way. Yeah, if my dad hadn't insisted that I not go to Talmadge for high school, like I was all in on going to the city of 10,000 Buddhas for high school, and it it probably would have had a slightly different course if I did. My family members, I think there was a lot of things that older siblings and parents that kind of introduced me to, that if they had been practicing Buddhists, that it definitely would have made a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's why we need to strengthen that type of relationship among ourselves, and also we make the vows too. Otherwise, it's not easy, because what we know is the light attract the light, right? Yeah, if we go to the path, we see people walking the path. For people who like to use drugs or to mess around, they like to hang around with those kind of people. And that's why we do this kind of ESL classes, so that we can encourage our younger bodhisattva to go to follow the path. Yeah, and even your student, right, Cham and Pian, right? At first they didn't know much about Buddhism, especially Pian, but now she could translate into Vietnamese beautifully according to Buddha teaching. Yeah, so step by step we train them. We give them that type of encouragement. Yeah, she's one of our main translator now, right, Cô Thông Nguyễn, right?
Yes, thưa thầy. Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's really yeah. She's
Yes,
really smart, and I met her in Vietnam. She has something that not many people have, that she really concentrate, and really kind-hearted person and humble. Even she's also very smart, and the way she translate the text or Buddhist text, she really translate with her heart. Sometimes I can feel that she is so happy that she is in this program. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we help ourselves and help others. We encourage ourselves and encourage others on the way too. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Let's see here. Oh, we're done with this one. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Thầy Pháp, you're the last one here, right? Go ahead, Thầy Pháp. You finish this one.
When the Buddha reached this chapter on the former affair, King Wonderful Adornment, 84,000 persons removed themselves from the dust and the defilement. And with respect to the various phenomenon, attend the pure Dhamma. So basically, it's there are a lot of people be able to transform their defilement, that means affliction, into the pure mind, so they can have the Dhamma, the eye to be distinguished about the Dhamma.
Yeah. Oh. One thing I'd like to mention is that Thầy Pháp mentioned that it's better to be a giver than receiver, right? When we are giver, it's easy for us to guide others. But when we are receiver, that means we have the depth to others. That means we have to follow them. So that's why especially for the Buddha, in many or almost every his lifetime, he would sacrifice his life for others. That's why when he became Buddha, he has so many people to follow him. And sometimes we can recognize that we don't have that much blessing like the Buddha because we didn't do much, we didn't give out much, we could not sacrifice our life much for others. Yeah. So that's just one of the encouragement then. Yeah. So for me at first, when I was layman, I really enjoy to do meditation, and I prefer to stay in seclusion, to do my own meditation. But turning point is when it became Buddhist monk and took Buddhist precept and realized that, well, if you don't have much blessing, you stay in the mountain and forest, that's all for you. But if you step out to help others, yeah, you get sometimes you get stuck. People can help you back, can support you in one way and others. You feel that, William, in that way?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if generating affinities makes sense. Yeah, if you have nothing to do with anyone, then in future lives you're not going to have anything to do with anyone. You're going to be starting from a blank slate. So yeah.
Yeah, Cô Thông Nguyễn, you feel that way too, right? You especially for the younger one, right?
Yeah, I think I learned that lesson as well. I used not to communicate much with my friends when at young age, but then now when I'm working, I think that having good colleagues at work is good. Also, the neighbors, my friends, that not only the grow in the Dharma path, but also with this ESL class, even though sometimes I'm really, really busy, but I think this class also helping supporting our student to communicate, to connect. I also explained to their parents that we are trying to build a network for them, so that they are knowing each other year by year, and when they grow up, they have a strong network to help each other, wherever in Vietnam or abroad. It's really, really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to tell my real story. I have one best friend. He's really good friends. Actually, my best friend in refugee camp in Philippines. But somehow when they came to the state and I went to LA to stay at the temple. So at that time, my mind is that I want to cut up everything, every relationship, whether my parents, my family members, my friends, so that I can concentrate on learning. And guess what? One time he really want to visit me because he lived in San Diego. So San Diego is not too far from LA. So he drove there, and somehow I didn't show much affection with him, and see he could feel that. And from that time on, I lost him. And I met him one time again in San Jose before I went to India, 1998. And that's all. I really miss him. Yeah, that's my big lesson. Yeah, at first I thought that to become a Buddhist monk, I have to cut up everything. My big lesson. I hope that one day I would see him. He is so good guy. Yeah. Like thầy Giáo Pháp, we learned that story, right? We learned that about experience before, right?
Yeah.
Did you cut up anyone before?
Yes. When I became a vegetarian in 1996, all my friends from university, I don't hang out with them. Every time they have wedding, they have party, they call me, and I ignore them. And finally, they understand, but I still keep the connection with them. So whenever they need help, I help them. We do have. I'm not totally cut off the whole thing, but I keep the connection on the phone. And for some time they do understand and they respect my principle. Okay, that's important. So because I don't want to go out because they sometimes you go to the wedding you have to drink, right? No, so no, I happy enough for those things. And that's in 1996. It's about wow.
How about you, William? You have that type of situation before?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Same sort of kind of spherical, just like not feeding any relationships, period. And then after some time, after some years, yeah, being struck by like, I didn't need to do that. Like I didn't have to like distract myself intensively with the relationships, but I still could have like nurtured them and kept them alive. But it was just where I was at the time. Maybe I couldn't have. Maybe I didn't have this sort of fortitude to be able to still engage in those relationships and not become distracted. And maybe I needed that period of time to really establish myself firmly in some practices. But yeah, I did feel quite disconnected from just kind of normal culture and the normal groups in high school, and that kind of carried on into college. I just felt like I was on a totally different rhythm, and people around me were connected in ways that I felt was like different than the way I was connected to people.
So now you still keep that connection with them, with the friends in high school and college?
Yeah, so I got some people I know. I've got a friend that I still know from middle school who I stay in contact with, who like came to my wedding, and he went to vacation with us recently. I got a couple friends from college that I still keep in contact with. I got a couple friends from med school too. So yeah.
Cô Thông Nguyễn, you still keep up with circle of friends in high school and college now, right?
Yes, thưa thầy. Even though not much. Also, 10 years ago, since I did my internship in India, I really find the engineering job just because I don't want to, also for the same reason, I don't want to involve in the parties, eating meat, chill every weekend. So I found a job working in shift so that I can practice. But since I start go back to normal, within I decided to communicate more to people because I realized that at a certain point when the my meditations are strong enough to handle, I start connecting people. So sometimes I chat back in the group chat from from kindergarten group to high school group in Vietnam, and also to my friends here. Somehow I also feel like practicing meditation, learning Buddhism, is I cannot join them, like join the conversation. Most time they're talking about family, kids, and buying new car, new house, and vacation. So I don't find any topic similar. And but now I'm learning. Therefore, I'm learning now with coach because I want to learn to connect with them, not involved in the topic, but somehow connect with the emotions. Maybe I can help them with anything. Yeah. And I realize that people nowadays, they need support a lot mentally and emotionally.
Yeah. So we swing back to the middle way, right? Two
Yeah,
extremes. One is to get involved too much. One extreme is to run away from them. Now we go back to the middle way.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So anyway, so time is up. That can you see the schedule here? Can you see the calendar?
yeah.
So the 17, 24, 31st. Uh, I don't know whether you have busy schedule or not, William, and even the 7th too. What do you think? You,
The 24th and the 31st will be tough ones for me. I probably wouldn't be able to make it. But the 7th and the 17th, I have to get my phone. I have something on the 17th, but I don't think it crosses with this time.
okay. So next week we still have right the 17th, right? And we may skip 24, 31st, and the 7th. Let's see, 7th January. Yeah. So Cô Thân Nguyễn, when you are in India, you cannot do anything, right? At opposite house, right?
Yes, I think I will be 28th January. I go to India.
And go back here in March. So you skip a whole month.
I think I skip February, yes. Yeah.
Okay, how about let's see here, unless something occurs. So let us meet together next Saturday 17th, right? And we will know for sure. Yes?
I just remembered what my thing is the 17th. My brother is coming into town and we have 2 days that we could find to hang out together, and one is the 17th.
Yes, okay. Yes.
It's his schedule is kind of weird because he's got 4 kids. So I just kind of have to work around his schedule, and I may still be able to join. Like we may be done hanging out before 4.
No, that's okay. If that case, we can skip and we come back on January 7 then, right?
Okay.
So we skip 3 weeks then. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the last chapter we're going to study for this Lotus Sutra, and after that chapter, wow, give me the idea which kind of sutra you want to learn.
We just start over with the Lotus Sutra.
Love the Lotus Sutra.
or the Diamond Sutra.
It's here top. It's here top. How about Flower Sutra? What do you think? Flower Sutra is more Bodhisattva path.
No, I think it's the king debate, the debate king something.
No, it is not. It's just more conservative. I think it's better. I feel in my view, I don't know whether it's okay with you guys or not. I really like to discuss more about Flower Dhamma Sutra that we have not done before. It's just volume and volumes. We don't know when we stop, but this is very interesting because it's talk about the Bodhisattva path. The Bodhisattva.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
We Tikyao Fap, we started going over the verses for like 15 minutes before our Sunday call a few weeks ago.
Cô Thông Nguyễn, what do you think? The Flower Sutra in Vietnamese have 8 volumes.
Yeah.
But we can pick up the translation, the English version.
Yeah.
I have the English version there.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's just so in depth about the Buddhist path. Yeah. All right, so let's see then. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you. So
thank you.
So see you back on January the 7th then. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Have nice. Hopefully you can come down at the 25th and join someday for our meditation from 26th to January the 2nd, if you have time.
I definitely have the time. I have the whole week off. It's just, how does my wife feel about me leaving when her family's here? Okay. I feel like I should be able to get away at least for a day, because we're going to have 7 of her family members in our house for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
anytime you feel comfortable, anytime that that your wife feel comfortable for you to go to. Yeah. You need to make the compromise, right?
Yeah.
To make to keep the harmonies in the families. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for your